Jesse, how do you assess the first 6 months here?
Yeah, if we were to go back 6 months and there were a lot of questions in the media and around our team about so many players leaving and would this team be good enough for Champions League, I think that the performances that we've shown over the last 6 months have proven that we have a strong group, and that the way that this club functions with young players and development of young players means that we've done a good job. We've had some success, and I think we've surprised a lot of people.
How do you come in to a team, a club that's won 6 titles in a row? That must be quite intimidating as a coach, really.
Yeah, I mean, the expectations are always that this team wins the league at this point. So, I mean, there's some pressure that comes with that. But for me, it's more about taking the group that you have and trying to help them be the best that they can be every day, and to grow and get better and be ready for big challenges. So we've talked so much more about micro goals than we have about the macro goals and the ideas of championships and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's helped us stay focused on the daily process and improve and get better.
Inevitably, though, people like me, on the outside, journalists, will look at it and say, look for something physical to say, where's the improvement? Can you win a title? Can you go further in Europe? Is that one of the goals that you have to set yourself?
Well, I think we have lofty expectations here of ourselves. How much success you can find in big tournaments, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, I look back in the Champions League and I thought our draw was tough from the beginning, and it turned out to be even tougher than I thought. And now, in the first round of Europa League, we earned a seed in the Europa League, but then we draw a team like Frankfurt, which won't be easy. So, yeah, I mean, we have big goals and we have a good team and we have high expectations of ourselves, but we also have to understand that, that we take each challenge as it comes, and that it's not always the easiest to manage either Champions League or Europa League, but that we believe in ourselves and we go for it all the way.
What did you make of that draw against Frankfurt? Does it help that you go to Germany first?
Yeah, it definitely helps that we play the second game in Salzburg. Frankfurt didn't have the best Hinrunde, so they weren't in the best form, but we know they're a good team. Their coach used to coach here. We're familiar with their football, their players, they're familiar with us. So it's a good matchup for us. It'll be fun. But yeah, we know it'll be difficult.
Yeah, November, December was awful, really. I'm sure they'll be looking to improve. You could almost have done with getting this game played earlier so they don't have that chance to find some kind of form. Yeah,
no, I think that they'll have used the pause in the winter to regroup themselves, to adjust from what they did or didn't do in the Hinrunde. They have some tough matches. They play Leipzig coming up twice, so they know our football. We know them. And we expect the absolute best from them. So they still manage, even though in the league they struggled a little bit, they still did well in Europa League, and it'll be a tough matchup.
Last 2 or 3 years, this club has done really well in the Europa League. A couple of years ago, semi-final. Is it a different competition when you come into it and you've already played Champions League? Does it feel like a step down this time?
Yeah, after playing Champions League, there was so much excitement in the city for the club finally reaching that stage. But I think also that this club has made its name in Europa League, and so we know that playing in Europa League is still a big tournament and a big opportunity for us to show our quality. So we'll be ready for it. We're not taking it lightly, and we want to win it. In the end, we want to win the tournament.
I know you've obviously only been here 6 months, but is this a better group of players than the last 2 or 3 years when the club have had good runs in the competition?
I don't know. To compare each team from the last 3 years isn't so easy. Marco Rosa did such a great job with the group of players he had. So many young players developed from Liefering and then to Salzburg, and now they've moved on to bigger challenges. The group we've had now, I think, has exceeded expectations. But we believe that we have talent here. We believe that we have good players. We believe that we have a good system. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really nice to be part of a club that has a clear identity, it has a group of people that really work together. It helps everyone be successful. So, yeah, it's really Salzburg's really started to make a name for itself.
Of course, anyone watching the game against Frankfurt, a couple of notable absentees, no Erling Haaland, no Takumi Minamino. How difficult is it for you to absorb those losses? How do you replace 2 players like that?
Yeah, Erling Haaland and Taki Minamino are they were big players here, and so it's not easy to replace those guys. But our way of operating is that we're ready for the next young player to step up and make a new name, So that's how it's always worked here for the last 6 years, 10 years. And so, we're not afraid of that. I think that's a big part of what we do. Even we had a discussion about the squad last night, and we're always planning for who are the next group of young players to take over the club and go from there. So we like our group. We think we could be even stronger, and we're ready to go.
Is that a reality of coaching a team, no matter how successful in Austria, because it's not one of the big European leagues, there's only so far you can take players?
Well, our fans, don't like to hear that we're a development club, and I think we are bigger than that. We're a club that wins championships, that performs well on the European stage. But in reality, the way we operate with young players is that we believe in educating them, we believe in pushing them, we believe in putting them in difficult environments, and then we believe in watching their growth and experiencing them make huge steps in their life and in their career. And frankly, that's a lot of fun. I mean, what a great job to have as a coach, to be able to coach young, talented players that are the future stars of Europe. So the key is that while everyone's here, that they commit to this 100% and really enjoy it.
Was Erling Haaland particularly difficult to let him go? He was only 19. Was there a part of you that thought maybe you could persuade him to do another year, 18 months in Austria before he moved on?
Yeah, so Erling's development path accelerated so quickly, right? And you could see in summer that he was going to be a big talent for us. But the way that it exploded, I don't think anyone could have predicted. The plan from the beginning was that he was going to be here for the entire year. In the end, because of the rapid accelerant of his development, then other opportunities became available. And for sure here at this club, we never want to deprive these young players of some of these big opportunities. So we're proud. We're very proud of Erling. We're very proud of the fact that he came here and he worked so hard to be as good as he could be. I think the system benefited him. He also benefited the team. And in the end, we wish him luck, and we're really excited to see him be successful in the next step. And then again, we have now new players that are ready to step up. Hee-chan Wang, Patson Dakin, Sekou Koita, Karim Adeyemi. So we have so many good young players that are ready for the next step.
Apologies for sort of harbouring the point about Erling. I think there's just so much interest in him now. Was there a lot of interest from around Europe? Did he have his pick of clubs, or was it always obvious he was going to Dortmund? I think Ole Solskjaer at Manchester United spoke very highly of him. There was a lot of the feeling was that United were very interested too.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams were interested in Erling, and as they should have been. I think he can help any team in any system anywhere. The key for us was helping him understand how to commit to this, how to continue to commit to the group. That wasn't difficult because he's very unselfish. He's a team player. He's a really good young man. And in the end, to also understand that the best way to control your future is to control the present. And that's the case with a lot of our young players. It's been the case over the last few years that there's a lot of attention being paid to a lot of the stars here in Salzburg, but it's key for them to focus on this team and play in the moment, live in the moment, to enjoy playing Salzburg, living in Salzburg, the whole experience. And the more that we're able to accomplish that, then the more we're able to see these young players succeed.
Were you keen for him though to go to Dortmund? Was that a club decision, or was it specifically he chose?
No, the decision for Dortmund specifically was by him and his people.
Is that the right move for you? I mean, I'm looking at him, and obviously you spent a year in the Bundesliga. Is he as good as someone like Timo Werner? Is the Bundesliga the perfect environment for him now to go and achieve everything that you see potentially he could?
One of the nice things about the Bundesliga is that they, in Germany and many of the teams there, value young players. So I think Erling made a good decision, that Dortmund is a good club. They play in Europe every year. They develop young players. As an American, I saw it with Christian Pulisic, and now Gio Reyna is the next player there that they're developing. So, they play young players, they believe in young players, they develop them. So I think, in general, it was a good decision for Erling. And we know, in the end, Erling is a special guy. He has a special mentality, he's a special talent, and I think he could be successful anywhere, but he's been really smart, and him and his father have been really smart to kind of take this step by step.
How does he compare to Timo Werner, who you worked with last year?
Timo's a little different. Timo's so explosive in 1v1 situations, in transition moments. Erling has that, but Erling has also more. He can play in build-up. He's good in the air. He's good on set pieces. He's dangerous in almost every moment. Timo has grown a lot too in the last few years, but at 19 years old, I think Erling is ahead of where Timo Werner was at his point.
Wow. What about you personally? Where are you at now? Was the year you spent in Germany as a number 2, was that the perfect stepping stone for taking on a management, a coaching role in your own right in the European League?
Yeah, I wasn't overly anxious to come to Europe. I believe that my experiences in the US were very rewarding and big in itself. But I also knew that this was a special opportunity, and it was more about me trying to take my leadership philosophy and my idea of what life and football is about, more than it was about ambition of trying to win big trophies or come to improve myself in Europe. And that was a lot behind my decision to go to Leipzig, was to learn the language more, to learn the European culture of football more. I also understand that in Europe, pedigree matters, right? So when you have the chance to operate or work at a place like Leipzig, and then help that in your next step to find a role as a head coach, and I think it's benefited me greatly here to have that year under my belt in Leipzig to help me be successful here in Salzburg. So, with our players, with myself, with our club, it's trying to create a development path that can honor the steps that are necessary for every person here to be as successful as they can be.
A very different lifestyle to being in the States, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, learning the language and the culture has been a major key to, I think, my success and our success. Is when you come to Europe, it's important to understand, what the teams mean to the communities, how the people think, what football means to each country and each club. And it's very different than in the U.S. Very, very different. We're still so young in our development stages of our league and our national team. But in the end, I found this incredibly rewarding. And it's been mostly about the people that I've been able to work with.